Greetings and hallucinations to all you people out there in FAF land. Buckle up. It is Seton's time. We're going to be here for a little while. I'm actually casting one of my own games, which normally is a no-no for a caster, but this game was freaking hysterical. So, I'm going to cast it for you guys, and hopefully you'll enjoy it as much as I did playing it. This is an absolutely hectic game. Alright, on the southern team, I am playing South Beach. That is me, Zap Brannigan, about to send wave after wave of my own frigates against Emberg. In the back is RK4000, Brock is Ionic, and front is Brian G. Some of you may realize that this is the group of people that I normally play with. We are all in Mumble, and we are here to have a good time. Hence, some of the fail strategies that you will see employed. On the northern team, we have Root, a good traditional Seton's Air player. Emberg on Rock, playing Navy. On the front, we have Rick Urasley, and on Beach is Pak. This is a pretty well-balanced game all around, but I would say we are at a severe disadvantage since I am no longer an exclusive Seton's player, so I am quite rusty. And RK4000, this is his second game in like 3 months, and he is not a Seton's player, period. So, chaos is about to ensue. I'm going to go ahead and bump this up to +4. Actually, I'm going to do 5. Because being a Seton's game, this is inevitably going to slow down substantially. And I'm going to try to burn through as much of it as I can before the slowdown. Alright, going to see the meat here in the center. Pretty standard build. We got a tank and a scout out for both players. Actually, that is probably a mech marine, which is going to handily outpace that tank and run around, hopefully snipe off an engineer, do some damage, who knows what. I'm doing my early drop. And we have a bomber out for Pak, rushing Ionic and trying to get a lock on that transport to kill off those engineers. I'm going to give away my greatest secret on my beach build. 2 engineers and 4 labs. You have an instant ghetto gunship and 2 engineers to take the island. Very, very effective tool. You can see here I'm hovering away. I would have killed that factory, but interceptors are there. So far, Root is taking a substantial lead over RK in Eco. We have an Eco whore of a player back here, used to Setons, so that is to be expected. And Emberg dropping that T2 naval factory as fast as he possibly can. I don't even have a naval factory in the water yet, and he already has tier 2. Brian has been forced out of the neck right here. He's been forced into the water. I'm going to start an upgrade in the center there. And the T1 spam collides. This is what everyone does on Seton's front because it works. The land spam is the new turtle base. Pak and Emberg holding an overwhelming air superiority. And Emberg does have his first destroyer out, so he is going to be pushing scouts across to see what I have and try to push me out of the water with that early tier 2 rush. Rick is also looking to grab an upgrade. Brian did get the tier 2 that is going to allow him to build point defense. And here come the frigates. I have 5 frigates to his 2 and a destroyer with a bit of good micro. That is a roughly even match. You can see here I'm trying to dodge his shots, getting close and nail those frigates. Pak was able to get a drop down on the beach. Not sure how long he'll be able to hold it though, because Ionic is in the water. Sending the frigate around the backside here to try and kill off that build power in the back. And those cruisers and frigates continuing to roll out. There is a mermaid in the water here. That is going to provide that lethal siren stealth make it very tough for me to see what's going on and predict where the shots will be coming from to micro with my frigates. You'll have to excuse me for coughing a little bit. I do have a tiny little bit of a head cold, so I'm trying to hit the mute button before I blow anyone's eardrums, but if I do, my bad. Alright. And I think I'm going to be on the losing end of that. The problem with UEF versus Cybran, and now I must say, you have to watch for this on Seton's. Emberg pulled the move of an incredible jerk, and he stayed un-X'd until everyone else was X'd in, and then he swapped factions at the last possible second, X'd, and then the game was launched. So it ended up being Cybran on Rock versus UEF on Beach, which is an almost unwinnable situation because UEF Tier 2 sucks. It sucks horribly, and it especially sucks versus Cybran. You're fighting uphill the entire way because your units are quite simply completely inferior to the Salems. So what I am trying to get down here is, or what you should do as UEF is try for Tier 3 as soon as possible while covering with frigate spam so that you can get battle cruisers out. And that is what will deny Cybran Navy. Once you get battle cruisers out, the Cybran Navy has lost. But I am not going to be able to do that versus Emberg because he was able to get a critical mass up, 2 cruisers, 3 cruisers for the long distance cover fire, a mermaid to provide some stealth so that I cannot dodge effectively, and then enough frigate spam to destroy what units that I have. And you can see here I've started throwing out T1 subs because I've noticed that he has no torpedo units at all in this group, and I'm sure that yes, destroyer spam has started once again after he has seen that, so that is not going to work for long. Brian, us being in Mumble Chat, me and Ionic were discussing this in Mumble Chat. We talked Brian into dumping all of his engineers into this Navy build to draw Emberg's units away from my Navy to give me a chance and try to get this T3 factory up, which you can see is progressing fairly well. I am actually pulling double the mass that Emberg is. The problem with that is that those Tier 2 units for Cybran have 80 range, and that is quite a difficult thing to overcome when all you have is frigates. Alright, Brian control Kang his walls and rushing forward with his T1 spam. He needs to get out of there, otherwise those cruisers are going to kill him. Emberg is prepping to push this other side again. Common move is to put a Cybran cruiser down here in the water and snipe off those 3 mass extractors there. It is something that works a lot of the time, but I have seen where he's headed and sent my T1 subs, and he is going to pull back. And here comes the Cybrans. Both air players are at T3, but Root is far, far, far ahead of RK, which is to be expected since Root is a dedicated air player. And we have a T1 transport loaded with, you guessed it, RK is using fire beetles on Setons. Which is great and fantastic. I do know that at this point in the game I was completely unaware of that because I was concentrating on doing everything that I possibly could to not die. This is freaking horrible right here. This is exactly what you don't want to happen, and I'm about to be dead. So this T1 transport, keep in mind I am zoomed in completely right here, focusing on what I'm doing, and then way off in the corner of my eye I see this happen. ACU nuke. Total naval loss. And then this, the unit swap redirects the targeting. Everything is broken up. I'm able to keep my shields up and get another one built, and then this factory is going to be left with, wait for it, it's produced 600 health, and I get the battle cruiser out. Which is great. And then up here, RK being so ridiculously behind at ASF production, even though he was able to kill off that ACU, that means that Root is going to have complete and total air control, absolutely demolishing Ionic's Navy with these T3 torp bombers. That is so sad to watch when that's happening to you. Oh, it hurts. It hurts so much. Pak also contributing T2 torp bombers to it. If you can't beat it with Navy, beat it with air, because you have air domination. And that is going to force the map back past the center line. We are collapsing. Brian running for his life. He had given me his power storage and not built another one. I had to give it back to him because I was trying to overcharge frigates. And he does get it back, and he is able to overcharge just enough to survive. And he has shifted to hover spam to try and assist with Navy. Needs to get a point defense up in his base, though. I'm sorry, guys. I'm zooming a little too much. I will back off slightly. All right, Root doing what the air players do on Setons. He has collected himself a whopping 115 ASF, despite the fact that RK has like 5. And he's still producing ASF. This is the problem with the current balance, which I hope that the T3 mobile anti-air will help to solve. Those of you who have not tried that mod yet, you need to try it, because it is worth playing. It gives you other options beside ludicrous amounts of ASF spam. And the torp bombers are going to come in and strike again. Ionic trying to move forward with shields and cover his battleships. Only partially effective. And now we have another transport from RK loaded to the gills with fire beetles. It is going to chill out at the bottom of the map for a couple minutes, apparently. I'm trying to snipe off a couple of frigates here. And I finally got the T3 up, so I am sitting okay for now. My goodness, Root is producing. I knew he made a lot of torpedo bombers this game, but I did not see exactly how many. He's sitting on 20 right now. Total in this game, he had to have produced 50 plus torpedo bombers. This is absolutely ludicrous. Alright. Brian has salvaged his situation. He is going to lay down radar once again and give that off to make Omni. Omni is absolutely critical on Setons, and I'm finally getting the eco back up on my island. Got my mass extractor upgrades going. I'm going to run down the list real quick while we are observing this. Root sitting on 9,000 reclaim, RK on 8,000, Ionic on 11, me on 15, mostly because I had this huge group right here. Pak on 15 as well. Same story. Navy comes into your naval yard, gets killed, and you are sitting on top of the mother of all reclaim piles. Rick Astley is on 15 as well. Brian on 14, and Emberg had managed to collect 3,000 before he died. And here you see Emberg lying through his teeth, saying that he was cybering the whole time and that he was moved there right before the game started. And I say to you, good sir, bull crap, don't try that with me. I was there in the lobby and I saw you as UEF. There's no need to be a jerk about swapping factions and then lying about it. So many torp bombers. Despite having the flak and the cruisers, Onyx going to have major issues with this. And then Pak is also in the water with a pretty good handful of T3 subs. This Tempest is going to have a very hard time versus all of these T1 artillery. It is something that the Tempest is definitely not equipped to deal with. Roots so far is not building anything like nukes or T4s or anything like that. Neither is Pac. And of course, Rick Astley, I don't know why they did this, handing off the double eco to the 1100 player, not the brightest of decisions, no offense to Rick, but there are people better equipped to take advantage of that mass that could do a lot more with it. And this transport still just chilling out down there in the bottom. Not sure what he's trying to accomplish down there, treading water, but as long as he's happy, we will leave him alone. I see discussions of a Soul Ripper snipe, which is kind of a contradictory term. Holy cow, look at all the wrecks. So much mass in that water, and the T3 torp bombers are coming down again, but they are headed for the Southern Navy down here. We do have a pretty decent standoff. This is a roughly equally matched Navy. It is me versus Rick Astley with the double eco, and I was not anticipating torpedo bombers this quickly. I do have 2 cruisers and a shield, but my shield is going down, and here come the torpedo bombers, and poof will go my Navy. This is a devastating hit right here. That is basically going to disintegrate my naval control. Ionic slowly but surely pushing forward. He now has 2 Tempests in the water with a 3rd almost completed. Let's see, RK. Not sitting on anything really special, it looks like. A buttload of fire beetles and a Soul Ripper. That could be helpful. I am left with my 2 surviving battle cruisers, 1 full health and 1 at a measly 300, and then a handful of frigates, which is a major problem considering the fact that Rick Astley has made, although a small amount, he has made T2 sub hunters, which are going to absolutely demolish my Navy unopposed. That is a mobile stealth in a T2 transport following a Soul Ripper, so that the Soul Ripper is stealthed. That is a brilliant little piece of micro by RK, and one of the things that I love about him as a player is he is similar to me in that screw convention, we're going to do fun stuff. And this is the type of fun stuff that we like to do and kill people with. Let's see, Pac is camping out in the center ocean. Rick is on the front still, and Root has decided that the southern pond is a good place to camp out. We are going to see an air engagement here now, and I believe that RK is going to come out severely on the losing end of this because Root has so many more ASF. And we're now up to a ginormo gargantuan 28 T3 torp bombers. That is such an absurd amount of damage. That's such overkill. And yet he has still failed to secure a Navy completely. Although I think South is going to collapse momentarily. I was not doing too well. I was dodging back and forth with this battleship trying to keep it alive, but 1 versus 3 at that close a range is pretty much undoable. And now I have this battle cruiser, but again 1 versus 3, and this one has very short range, so it has to close in. That is not going to end well either. And then we have the Zooey spam on top of that. Rick bringing down a good solid 100 T1 artillery. 72, my bad. Bringing down a little over 70 artillery to try and kill off all of my build power and everything. Those 3 battleships easily killing off that battle cruiser. Fire Beetles moving forward. There is the Soul Ripper. It is going to be sighted. And the ASF are coming in. Amazingly not shooting down that transport. That is hysterical. And the Fire Beetles are going to swarm out. Soul Ripper going down. Not even getting any damage en route. Fire Beetles unable to attack the ACU, so they are going to get redirected and go to kill off any mass extractors they can find. Fire Beetles are roughly equivalent to a TAC missile. Pretty cool that way. They can one-hit kill a mass extractor plus 4 power generator. Excuse me, plus 4 mass storages, not power generators. And I am currently locked in a shield and arty war with all of those battleships, and I have started queuing up as many T2 factories or T1s to upgrade to T2 support so that I can start rolling out hover spam and throwing up tier 2 point defense as well to try and stave off all of these those T1 artillery that are coming. Same reason I'm producing labs up here. Labs are fast and cheap. They can swarm out and take ACU kill. I thought that was coming soon, which is why I was looking around. Rick is going to go up in flames. It is now 4 versus 2. And I am in trouble, dodging for my life. I'm ashamed that you did not see that. I was employing my epic dodging skills. You can see how low my health is. At that point, I had been dodging for about 10 seconds straight without a single shot hitting me. And that was against 4 battleships. What saved my life, though, I had to walk in between some factories here, which meant I had to walk in a straight line for longer than is comfortable versus a battleship when you're only on 3,000 health. And when Ionic killed that ACU, he quite literally saved my life. That is a showcase for the T3 Mobile AA. You can see them picking off some of the stragglers on that ASF group. Unfortunately, that was a kite. They were not able to get a solid firing pattern on them. Ionic saved my life because when these battleships switched hands, it changed their targeting priorities, and that allowed my ACU to escape. And kudos, I have no idea who designed the models for these, but the models for the T3 Mobile AA are fantastic. They fit right into this game. They look like they were made to be here. Good job to whoever did that. See, they are able to snipe off bombers. They're not by any means overpowered. It does take quite a few of them, but it gives you an option for trying to deny the power of the strap bomber when you do not have air control. And right now, I think this is a classic example of not having air control. Those strap bombers coming in and trying to kill off these T3 AA. And that is honestly a waste of mass. You can see them reach out on their firing cycle and just murdering those strats coming over. The disadvantage being they really can only effectively hit 1 or 2 at a time. Their AoE is pretty low, and they do take a few seconds to react. So I by no means think... No! That was a nuke launch. Alright, that was a single desync, and that was when Rick Your Astley left. I will let you know if any of this changes, how it's happening. The nuke is coming in. He launched that nuke to force Root to walk out of the water, and then he had a transport full of fire beetles in it. He is going to hit, run, and kaboom! There goes Root. It didn't matter what he did because the nuke was right behind that. That is great. That is fantastic. RK doing as RK do. And fire beetling the second player in the same game. And now it is 4 versus 1. Pac is all by himself in control of the whole map. That's great. Again, I will let you know if anything comes out differently, but that was a single desync without a repeat, and that was when Rick left the game, so I don't think this game is desynced. Alright, I'm trying to get some shields up to protect my ACU. There are still a lot of battleships in the area, and I'm finally starting to get these Riptides out to go out and deal with them. Unfortunately, though, I was not watching my ACU at this point. You're going to see where my critical mistake comes in. I'm trying to build SAMs. And my shields are going to go down while I'm not watching my ACU. And look, this entire volley comes in and connects before I even realize what's happening, down to half health. And another volley. Trying to dodge, doing a little bit. I think I may have actually power stalled at a couple of points in there. And nope, not enough. 500 health. And boom. That's one. Pac has taken me down, as usual, due to my own stupidity. I am the first one to die on my team. Even if it is at 40 minutes, this seems how it always rolls out. I'm always the first one to die. Spent all that time surviving, and then kaboom. And that was another person leaving. And no, the desync is going to stick with us. That is so terribly sad. I'm going to go ahead and stick with this game. I already have so much time invested in it. I will see if it turns out like it was supposed to. Those fire beetle kills are the main thing I wanted to showcase, but we will see. RK has a lot of strap bombers headed in for him, trying to wing them with these ASF. He is not going to get enough of them. They are going to drop. He is able to dodge and 3 fly past. This is exactly how the game was playing out. So despite the desync screen, I mean, this is all rolling out exactly like it should. Emberg telling Pac to make all strap bombers, which is definitely what he needs to be doing because he has a overwhelming amount of ASF. Not much to contest it. And then on the northern side here, see Ionic pushing in, but those T3 subs are just going to be a little too strong. They are going to be able to hold him back. And second nuke coming out. Let's see where that is headed. That is going across to not have a targeting. I think that was aimed at the Rock player's home base. So many scouts, Ionic. So many scouts. Of course, you do want intel, so that is understandable. And the naval production goes poof. An atomic afterglow, and then RK has realized that I had this TAC base out here fully loaded when I died, and he is going to snipe off the remaining factories. But here comes Mr. Awasa. Pak doing a good thing and shoving himself into the T4 phase. He has a whopping 1,000 income from all of these bases that have been handed to him, pulling 50,000 power and 900 plus mass. He basically has the ability to build whatever the hell he wants. There is nothing that can stop that production. And he is rolling out an absolutely ungodly amount of hover spam, as well as the T3 subs. Ionic is going to have his work cut out for him to hold that Navy. He does have 3 Tempests in the front and 2 more headed up from the back, as well as this enormous Tempest spam here. Gonna try to use them. Tempests are actually a viable option versus the T3 subs, but not if you let them sit still and take Zooey fire. And down here, that Awasa hit, I missed that. That Awasa hit an ASF. The bomb detonated short of the shields. The SAMs are going to take out the Awasa. It's going to drop on the air factory, and RK is not going to be able to dodge all those again. That is going to be the end of RK's run of luck. Right up till the end, circumstances were for him with that Awasa drop hitting those ASF and failing to connect, but just too many strats. It is quite frustrating when that happens. And now Pak has managed to eliminate 2. He has 2 left. Brian on the front, who is now spamming Novaxes, and also Ionic in the north, who is now controlling 3/4 of his team's side. Although I believe momentarily he will hand this off to Brian, and is having major Navy problems. That hover spam is brutal, to say the least. So many Zooies. So many Zooies. Share unit cap was on, so Pak actually has a 4,000 unit cap. He's got 1,500 right now, but that is so many units. Maybe the desync window will stay away now. I bet RK was the one that was tripping it, and now he is gone. Although I can confirm that that is exactly how that happened in game, so we are still good and clear of the desyncs now. Alright, there are 3, 4, 5 Tempests. 6 Tempests in the water. These 3 are submerged, and they're moving in to attack these battleships and other units here without fear of the T1 mobile artillery. And the second Novax is on its way north. The first one did manage to snipe that power generator, which killed the nuke defense and some of the engineers that were assisting. Beautiful assisting, by the way. That is fantastic. Crescent shape of glowing light is so pretty to watch. Brian has been handed the factories and all of the eco from the air slot, so he is now being expected to make air. And he is doing so, still has quite a few hives at his disposal. And a massive Awasa and T3 power generator wreck group that could be reclaimed to make pretty much whatever you wish, but he is not doing so at the moment. Ionic taking control of the Southern Navy, and he is going to push all of these riptides up onto the shore and try to stab into all of this build power and eco that is up here. All these factories going up here, I imagine, for future reclaim and or engineer production. Pac slowly but surely forcing Ionic back with this hover spam. Although this last Tempest is doing a fair job of pushing northward. Now we're seeing another group of strat bombers prepping. Brian does have the ACU shield. It is the primary shield, not the secondary. Interesting note, you are about to find out how right I am about this. The UEF's shield, you want to have the personal bubble if you are trying to avoid being strat bomber sniped. But if you have the extended shield, the second upgrade, it only gives you like maybe half again as much health, and it completely removes your ability to dodge strat bombers. Because the shield is so large in size that no matter how well you micro, the strat bombs will always hit your shield and take it down. Whereas if you have the personal shield, it is close enough to your body that if you are able to successfully dodge the strat bombers, your shield will remain intact. Alright, Pac has killed 3 out of 4 people with that massive eco he has, and now basically it is the war of the giants. We have Ionic versus Pac, the original naval opponents, the only ones still alive, and both have access to an entire map's worth of resources, mass extractors, power generators, reclaim, and all 4 factions. I believe all 4 are represented on the southern side. Yes, no, there is no Seraphim. On the northern side we do have Aeon, Sarah, and Siren, so no UEF. He's going to start a salvation finally. Still rolling in 1,000 plus eco. Ionic pulling 1,200 steady. Although he is in major trouble due to all this hover spam. That is going to be a major problem for him. Pac is back in the water now. Ionic now has his own hover spam to cover. All of those riptides, all of the factories and support factories. Between my navy and Brian's base, which he now owns, he has an absolutely ludicrous amount of build power. Running out of descriptive words for gargantuan ginormous, because this is an epic Setons match. Everything is bigger. So there is a Restorer Cloud, a group of T3 subs, which is dangerously close to Ionic's ACU. I cannot believe that Pac does not have that ACU scouted. He could kill Ionic at any moment here. It would be so easy to do. And we are pinging his ACU frantically, trying to get him to attack it. Ionic is pulling an upgrade that is probably teleport. I believe it is. Actually, he got the upgrade. There's the teleport, throwing up a stealth generator, and this is actually swinging the other way. Strat bombers out. Pac missed his opportunity, killing Ionic's ACU. They were 10 T3 subs right there. Now we have hover spam and these tempests. Pac is caught between a rock and a hard place. If he stays in, the torpedo damage is going to kill him. If he comes out, the surface fire is going to kill him. And if he stays there and somehow manages to kill the tempest, Ionic is building tacks. But those are not going to be necessary. A triple shot. All 3 connect, and boom goes the dynamite. Pac is down. That is the end of this game. It went from killing 3 members on one team all the way back to killing 3 members on the other team to an epic 1 versus 1, and Ionic pulled it out even though his ACU was in such mortal danger. I still can't believe I didn't realize when we were actually playing that game how close Ionic was to dying. We're literally talking just a couple hundred yards, and Pac would have sighted his ACU. He had the blip, but he did not have the ACU marked. He could have killed him at any time, but instead, Tempest got you, bud. Alrighty, guys, that is my Seton's cast. That is going to be it for me for Seton's for a while. As you know, I only cast one of these every couple of weeks. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I am so glad that you guys are watching. For those of you who have not been paying attention, I am almost to 500 subscribers, and my first video is almost to 1,000 views. Thank you guys so much for the support that you've given me. The FAF community is a great one. We need to get more people into it. So, to that end, everybody needs to promote YouTube channels that promote FA. Of course, like and subscribe, but more than that, if you are on any video where there is a link to one of my videos or to a video of another FAF caster, you need to click it so that YouTube begins to associate FA cast videos with StarCraft, Dota, LOL, all of those games, because when they start to see that association, they will put up ads for our videos in the sidebars, and that is how we can reach out to more people. So if you can help in that, that would be greatly appreciated. And again, guys, thanks for watching so much. I will see you next time.